Thanks for joining us at our Crazy as Usual 50 Fastest interviews. And I'm really so honored that Julie Danziger is willing to join us today and tell us about the monkeys that may have been present at the beginning of starting her business, Embark Beyond, and growing it successfully. Julie, I learned about you at the Women Presidents Organization 50 Fastest ceremony, and tell me a little bit about what surprised you when you got nominated for that, and then I want to hear a little bit more about the origin story of Embark Beyond and why you created this business.
Well, when I got nominated for it, I was like, are you sure you have the right person? Me? Just me? And then I'm like, it was pretty cool. And then I proudly told my business partners, I'm like, you guys are men, you can't be nominated. So there. So I'm like, take that. So no, it was how just kind of how the business got started. I'll share a little bit about that. And then we mentioned talking about the monkeys in my head. And sometimes I feel like they're in front of my face,
Yeah,
so not just in your head,
dangling.
right?
Yeah,
It's the
right.
monkeys are giving me a migraine, Donna. So the way we started the business, I actually have been in this industry for over 20 years. So got into the industry because I, you know, early 20s, and my mom said, you love planning things, you love traveling, you're pretty organized, you should be a travel agent. And I looked at her and I said, that's a great idea. How do I become a travel agent? And she looked at me and she says, I don't know, you should call a travel agent. So I did. And I essentially the first year worked for free. I said, I don't know. I mean, you can't do that nowadays legally, I think. But I said, okay, they weren't hiring this company that I called. And I said, okay, let me just do what I need to do because I want to learn. I want to see if this is something I like to do. Sure enough, eventually joined another company, getting paid like $8 an hour at the time. I don't know. Now it's like, oh my God, you're getting paid $8 an hour. That's not also not legal anymore. But getting paid minimum wage, rolling up my sleeves, making the coffee, filing brochures, really trying to understand what about this business do I love?
Yeah.
And then starting to build itineraries and work with clients. And you grow, you grow, you grow. And towards the tail end of our time at the former agency that I worked for, myself and my current business partners, we sat down and we said, okay, we want to take things up a notch. We want to do things our way. We want to create something special within this industry. And also at the same time, create a viable career path for the next generation of travel sellers. Because we also realized that if you are a salesperson in luxury, I know I'm jumping around, but I'm so they're the monkeys. It's the monkeys talking to
Yep.
me. So
They're talking
so
to you.
if you sell luxury travel and then you're in your 80s, maybe early 90s, you're still selling travel, but you want to retire at some point. But if you retire, what happens to your book of business? It just, how many times if anyone's used a travel advisor before that's retired, it's like they just call another advisor. There's nothing, that business just kind of poof goes into thin air. So we
Right.
said, let's create a company where we're creating an opportunity for anyone to make partners, similar to a law firm, where once you have a certain level of volume, you can make partner and be part of this company and be part of the ownership of the company. So we
Yes.
wanted to make it more welcoming and more open to anyone that is passionate and really good at what they do
Yes.
within our space. So fast forward, we created Embark Beyond March 2019 with about 15 people in a loft on 19th Street in Manhattan. And then we all know what happened exactly a year later, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of people kind of said, oh my God, what a crazy time to open up a travel company. And I'm like, you know what? It wasn't the worst time in the world because when everything shut down, we said, hey, we had this whole 7-year plan of all these great programs and all these training and all these tools that we wanted to create. What are we doing now? No, let's just work on it now. So we worked on what we had wanted to work on in 7 years. We worked on it over 7 months. And it allowed us to kind of catapult and move the business forward and not just sit there twiddling our fingers and grow the business. And sure enough, fast forward, we went from those over a little over a dozen people on a loft in Manhattan on 19th Street, all in person, all there, to over 250 people growth outside of New York. And now we have actually, we even have an office in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and we've got 50 people down there. And we've got folks all over the world, from Saudi Arabia to Australia to Tel Aviv to Lithuania. I mean, there are travel sellers everywhere. And one thing that the past couple of years taught us is how to work in a remote world.
Yeah.
And it really expanded our business tremendously. So I don't know if that answered your question, but what else can I give you?
Well, that's amazing that that you grew so fast and that you used that downtime, the non-travel time, to strategically position the business for growth. I'm wondering, how did you take the systems that manage those first 15 people and then scale them to include all these other markets? How
I
how
don't
did you
know.
make
I don't know.
you just you just
No,
did it?
well, we said let's look at what the biggest challenges in our space are with selling luxury travel. And one of the biggest challenges was people were spending too much time on the details and putting things together and not as much time selling and working with the customer directly.
Yeah,
So we said, how can we come up with a system that can allow people to minimize the amount of, we'll call it busy work that
yeah,
they do and focus on doing what they do best, which is being that salesperson. So we created an amazing intranet, and this is a great resource where we actually over the pandemic doubled down on our marketing and our tools and our resources, and we created these resources to help the travel advisors. They have selling tools. They
yeah.
have information at their fingertips instead of having to rely on Googling and researching and knowing every place in the world. We created a portal where they can have everything at their fingertips. We also created a technology, our own booking tool. So it integrates with a lot with the hotels directly, with airlines, with a lot of different areas that they can go into this system and they can physically book the travel in the system. So using the technology and using all these tools and resources we gave them, it alleviated a lot of that busy work. So they became more self-sufficient, but also their book of business grew. And because if our advisors are self-sufficient, although I'm supporting them and we're helping them through everything, we can scale and grow the business and add more advisors and add more people, and then continue to grow the business, because
Yeah.
you're alleviating a lot of that busy work and making it more of a good use of time.
You're
Instead of
really
you
maximizing the customer's experience, which is kind of my big area of focus. I mean, make a happy customer creates more happy customers. So the expansion of your business was the addition of more travel advisors.
more travel advisors, more marketing, more we actually have a tremendous events department. We also looked at where there might be other gaps where we can fill. For example, we launched about 8 months ago Embark Safaris, which is a specific safari division of our company.
Nice.
And it allows the advisors within our company to buy safari related vacations for their customers through our portal, instead of having to call all these different folks all over South Africa. You call our company, and we can help get that booking done and done the right way, and also maximize their profits on it, because we're also alleviating a middleman. So
Nice.
so we launched Embark Safaris that way. We're looking to continue to grow that, and so it's just growing different opportunities and in different areas for the travel seller and for the customer.
So would you, in the events department, would you even work with organizations that are creating destination retreats or something like that?
So we do a ton of destination celebrations, weddings, hotel openings, and we collaborate with individual high-level party planners. So we'll collaborate with a high-level party planner. So if you're planning a wedding and your wedding is going to be, your budget is $10 million, then you don't want a travel agent doing the flowers and all the creative touches and all that. You want
Right.
a super party planner. But the party planner needs is identifying the site, where to go, where to stay, the logistics and the travel management, getting to where they're going, getting the charter or the plane, getting the transportation. So that's where we come in, is we'll have the party planner do what they do really well, which is creating the most epic party, and what we do really well, which is the logistics, making sure they get there, making sure they have the right place to stay. And that's kind of a big part of our event business.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and that half of the struggle in planning any kind of a destination event is the sight unseen. You know, if I don't do a fam trip, how do I know this is going to provide the right kind of facilities for me? So would you say that your travel planners have really scoped out a lot of places around the world and have firsthand experience?
Absolutely. And we actually create and host our own familiarization trips. So we've done, I believe, 18 in 2024, where we'll gauge the interest of the advisor. What are you interested in selling? What do you feel would help your business? And we try to create these fam trips around that. And we call them epics, actually. We don't even call them fams, because we wanted to take the traditional familiarization trip, which, for those of you that aren't familiar with that, is that's basically going to a destination and to a property where they wine and dine you and show you what you need to see so that you understand how to sell it to a customer. So it gives you a full understanding of the product and what you're actually selling. So what we've done is we've taken it up a notch, where, let's say we have an epic to Paris. Not only will we take, let's say, 6 to 8 advisors that have a passion for selling Paris to Paris, we'll also take a photographer and a videographer, or a cinematographer rather, and they'll be able to capture it in the right way on a high level. Because I mean, I know we love our iPhones, but when you have a professional photographer getting those real amazing shots, it really can truly help on the marketing side. And it
Absolutely.
will allow the advisors to really understand and sell and just experience the product at a high level so that they can go back and sell it. On top of that, they come back and they create a report on the destination, on the product, and then we have it on our intranet, on our portal, so that the other advisors can see it and can understand it as well. So even if they did not go to Paris, they've got all this great information, but they also have a community of the eight folks that did go, that they can then tap into and ask. And it's a lot of sharing information, and the advisors, like if you have someone based in California and someone based in New York, and the New Yorker calls the California advisor, says, where is your favorite local spot for dinner in LA? Then you're going to get it from a local, as opposed to someone that's sitting at their desk in New York that doesn't know.
So true. And if you're like me and my girls, I know you said that you take your kids on the road, they like to travel.
Mm-hmm.
We want to experience Paris. Every place we go, we want to experience it like a local. And it's hard to get the locals to tell you because they don't want you to go to their local joints. So it's a beautiful thing. Tell me more about what you've learned about traveling with families.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have 3 kids, and my kids are 14, 12, and 8. So we've got a nice variety of ages, and we've been traveling with them since before they were born, you know.
Yeah.
So what have I learned? I've learned that travel really helps mold a child and who they are. And when my kids join us on vacations and experience destinations, it's opening up their mind. It's helping them have a better appreciation for not only a destination, but for
Yeah.
different cultures and different people. And they're more understanding and sensitive, and they engage with different people. And it kind of opens up their mind, where you can't get that in school. I mean, you could sit
Right.
you can learn what you're gonna learn your math, you're gonna learn your science, but understanding people and cultures and the world, you really have to experience it, and having the ability to take the kids and give them that opportunity has been tremendous, and really we're seeing the fruits of that now. Now that they're getting a little older, we see it. We see it in their mannerisms. We see how they behave in restaurants. I mean, it trickles down, and I definitely encourage anyone that has the opportunity and ability to take their kids with them. Take them with you, but not only to cool destination. Take them with you to a fancy restaurant. Take them with you to like a place locally that you want to expose them to different cultures and get them out. And I always encourage that.
Yeah. Have your kids always been open to learning more about other cultures?
Yeah, because they want to go on vacation.
Yeah, they want to go on the trip. Right. I know.
They want to go on the trip.
I
Yeah.
used to always, I worked for a global organization. I kept bringing people home from different countries, and my kids were like, "This is really neat, Mom, but it's also exhausting because we're all introverts and we have to ask questions." And
Right.
but
Right.
they love to travel, and I think it's amazing that you have been able to start them early
Oh,
to
yeah. I
learn how
mean,
to
it's funny.
experience different cultures.
It's funny. I'll tell you one thing. Sorry to interrupt you, but like we were 2 years ago, we went to Paris with the kids, and my parents came with us, and we, first order of business, we're gonna go to the Louvre, and we got this great family guide to do a scavenger hunt through the Louvre, which was super cool, and you would think after 3 hours, the kids would get like antsy and hungry. I'm tired. But no, it was my parents that are like, can we go? Can we go? So I'm like, okay, the car is waiting outside for you. You can go into the car. And then the kids were telling me, no, 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 we're not done yet. We didn't finish. We didn't finish. We have more to see. Did you hear the story about that painting? And these are young kids, and they ended up sticking around in the Louvre for an extra hour. So, I mean, you never know, but it's like you get them in early, and they surprise you sometimes.
That's amazing. I love the scavenger hunt
Yeah.
idea. So fantastic.
Mhm.
Well, so many ideas. I don't know if you know that a lot of the women presidents chapters like to go on retreats together. So
Right.
my mind is going all over the place. What advice would you give to a small business owner who is like growing faster than they even predicted? Um, how did you prepare your mind for this shift? You said earlier, I'm just a girl from Brooklyn.
Right. Well, I mean, I think my advice would be, and it's hard to really know if this is, how best I could say is surround yourself with the right people and the right support system, and get the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. And if you're surrounded by a great support system and the right people, then you'll be fine. But if so that, I guess that's the best advice I can give in terms of what to do. And then, just be honest and be kind, and kindness sometimes seems like it won't win, but in the end, kindness will win.
It always wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started in 2019, and I believe that the WPO 50 fastest takes your numbers for the past 4 years. So it was comparing 2019 to 2023, I think. 22. So what kind of growth did it look like on paper?
It was, I mean, it's funny because at the end of the year when we're going through our numbers, I'm like, really, are you sure that's accurate? Like we really, the growth has been tremendous. We've both in numbers and in people.
Yeah.
I think also within our space in luxury travel, the cost of travel got significantly higher.
Yes.
So, and people tend to not want to forfeit a quality or a level of luxury, so they're just paying more for it. So when the average daily rate at a hotel used to be, and there's one hotel in Italy that I was laughing at because in 2019 or actually even like 2021, the average rate for this hotel was like $750 a night. And then the same room this year is 2,700 a night.
Oh
So
my
it went from 750 to 2,700. You're seeing crazy jumps in the cost for something that a customer was already used to, used to experiencing, and they
Yeah.
don't want to forfeit that. Now, yes, there are value places. There are places where you could still get a value for your dollar with luxury. And that's also a big piece of our business because we have the ability to find those gems. And that's also why people keep calling us. So it allowed us to, the numbers really were tremendous. But also when things started to reopen again, destination events, destination weddings, celebrations,
Mhm.
that was a huge part of our growth. And that I really owe a lot of credit to one of my partners, Eli, who really grew that space really nicely. So
That's great. You know, my daughter has been bridesmaid in enough weddings that she says, I think a destination wedding is in my future. It sounds like a lovely way to get out of all of the frenetic pace of wedding planning. Let somebody else do the hard lifting, right?
yeah,
So, what does the future look like for you?
the future. That's a good question. Future meaning like tomorrow, or
Well,
give me some.
you know, like I said earlier, a lot of CEOs that I work with in my CEO roundtables and consulting are planning to grow. They're in some form of succession planning or positioning their business for sale. And I'm just wondering, are you just going to keep plugging away for the near future, or do you have a certain exit strategy in place? What's your plan?
Only time will tell, Donna. Right now, I can tell you we are focusing on continuing to scale and grow our business. We're focusing on the changing the scope of the industry as a whole. We really want to elevate the customer experience. We want to focus on partnership and just the customer journey, and can just continue to grow the business and go from there. Now, beyond that, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, if the right buyer comes along, there's always opportunities, and we're always open to conversation. But we want to make sure it would be the right move for us, the right move for the business. And I don't know if that answers your question or just like danced around the subject, but um,
Well, I'm not trying to get insider
yeah,
information. I'm just wondering as a business owner, how you're charting the future. And it sounds like you're riding the wave right now and you'll
yeah.
reevaluate that as you get there.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a few years where, yes, we did really well, but we utilized a lot of that to reinvest in a lot of what we're doing now.
Mhm.
So now
Technology.
we're at the stage where we reinvested a lot. We're doing what we do now, but now it's time to start enjoying a little bit of the fruits of our labor, but while we continue to grow it. So we
Mhm.
have barely scratched the surface. So you just wait and see what
I
we do
bet.
next.
Well, and if somebody's listening to this saying, I would like to know more about how to be part of this growing venture, what's a good point of entry for somebody who's,
An
trying to
email.
imagine her career?
Well, if anyone is interested, they can always shoot me an email. I don't know if you share my email address.
I can if
And
you want me to.
sure, you're welcome to share my email address. It's julie@embarkbeyond.com. Feel free to reach out. Even if you just want to understand, or if anyone wants to understand what it is we do, how we do it, how to get involved in our business, even if it's not with us, if it's just how to understand if this is the right business for you, I'm very open to having conversations. We do them all the time. And I think I'm very open to that.
Good, good. And I bet you're equally open if somebody wants to plan an excursion of their own to just reach out and say, okay, what should we do?
Absolutely.
That's good.
Absolutely. And you know what? Anything goes. And if it's not the right, like if you call and say, hey, maybe it's not a 5-star budget, email us anyway, because we can always point you in the right direction. And we're
Yeah.
always willing to give guidance and support because you never know. But before we go, you were asking me about the monkeys.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
yeah. I mean, where did the monkeys enter the scene? At what point did you go, am I crazy? Can I really do this?
Well, I mean, I still think that sometimes, by the way, but I guess you could say, I don't know, for better or worse, I'm a female business owner that does not have a college education. I
Nice.
did not come from a family with a tremendous wealth. So, you know, you could easily say the cards are stacked against me, right?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, with amazing business partners, you know, honestly, for anyone out there, male or female, it doesn't matter. If they're a good business partner, they're a good business partner. It doesn't matter who they are, what they identify as. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's
Right.
a great business partner, a great support system, you know, whether it's family, friends, you know, for me, it's a little bit of both, and an opportunity for networking. It definitely helps squash those monkeys.
Nice. You got to keep them under control. So, do you have a
Exactly.
system? Do you have a way of talking yourself out of
I
spending any?
yell at myself.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No, I play sports, so it's like if you hear me, like if I'm playing basketball or golf, if I swing the golf club and my shot like goes off to the left instead of going straight, I will literally yell, "Come on, Julie!" Like I'll yell at myself. And then I'm fine.
All right. Well, you're coaching yourself a little bit. I think it's beautiful.
Exactly.
Any
Yeah.
last thoughts for those of us who are just in awe of what you do?
Well, again, like I said in the beginning, I'm just a regular girl from Brooklyn. So there's nothing miraculous or spectacular or anything special about what I'm doing. It's more that I stood up and said, I'm gonna do something. And I committed to it and I got up and I did it. And anyone can do that too. It's not brain surgery, it's not a science. It's, do you have the determination? Do you have the drive? And you have that competitive nature to want something so bad until it happens that you get it. So I guess that's the best thing I could share to close out. But I do appreciate you inviting me to this. This was pretty cool, and really thank you. So
Well, thank you. And I will send you the link so you can share on your
sure.
social. I appreciate all you guys have been really great about that. And I hope this is not the end. I'd like to find a way to plan an excursion. So
Donna, this is just the beginning.
this
This
is
is just the
we've
beginning.
only just begun,
We've
Julie.
only just begun.
Thank you for sharing your monkeys with us. Thank you for sharing your success.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.